Hi, everyone. It's Tracy from the Fairborn branch of the Greene County Public Library. I'm here today to talk to you about something a little different. I'm here to talk to you about how to use Google for your genealogy research. I know everybody knows about it as Gmail and as a search engine, but did you know there's a lot more you can do with it? Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully share my screen with you. All right. So, did you know that with Google, if you have a G Drive or a Gmail, you have access to all these different things. You have access to a search engine, Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Forms, Slides, Alerts, Google Books, Earth Pro Maps, Google Keeps, Task, Calendar, To-Do List, Scholars, Google Drive. All these things are wonderful, and there's a ton more. We're going to get started and talk about a few that I use a lot with my genealogy research. So the first thing is Google Mail. I use it, it's free. Just keeps things easy to sort, look for things. The next thing is Google as a search engine, which I'm sure all of you have done just a regular Google search, but did you know you can search images as well? So if you have an old family photo or an old article you're looking for, when you go to Google, there's a little icon right here in your search box. It looks like a little box. It actually lets you do a Google image search with a Google lens. So what you do is you click on that, then you can drag and drop your photos or web page or whatever you're looking for. You just drag and drop or upload a file here, and you can do a search for that. That's really helpful if you have like old school photos or old pictures of old buildings that you're trying to identify. That can be a good tool to help you do that. But what you may not know is there's a lot more things you can do as far as storing your genealogy data besides just looking things up. So one of the first things I use is Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Forms, and Google Slides. You may have noticed when I started sharing my screen that this is actually done on Google Slides. Think of it as like a free version of PowerPoint. All these are kind of Google Sheets is like a free version of Excel. Google Docs is a free version of Word. Forms, you can make your own forms up, and Slides, it's like PowerPoint. The cool thing is you can take this with you anywhere you can access the internet. All you have to do is log into your Google account. I'll show you here in a minute about that. And then you can access all of these documents. So whether you're traveling or you're at a library, you forget your genealogy notebook or your research notebook, you can still have access to things if you've kept it in one of these formats. Just makes it really convenient, one less thing you have to carry when you're going on your research trips. Another thing you can have is Google Alerts. This is really helpful if you're looking for more current events. If things get updated in news or on alert or on newspapers or just online in general, you can set a Google alert, and I'll show you where all these are here. It's just Google Alerts. It pops up, you type in what you're wanting. And make sure whatever you put in is exactly how it's going to look. So if you put in Mrs. James Smith, that is all it's going to look for. It's not going to look for Mrs. J. Smith or Jimmy Smith or Sarah Smith. Whatever you put in there is exactly what it's going to look for. So if you want to look for all of those different versions, the James Smith, the Mrs. J. Smith, Jimmy Smith, James Smith, set alerts for each one of those things. Now it's not 100%, you make it James Smiths that aren't your James Smith, but it is going to notify you when something new pops up. Another cool thing is a calendar and to-do list. I keep these for like when I'm going on a research trip. As you can see, it tells you what it is, when it is, where it is, and who's involved. You can email this to friends if you're going in a group with family members. You can add tasks over here for what you have to do, what they have to do. And these are all shareable, so you can share them with family who's going with you or helping you with your research as far as who needs to do what, who needs to bring what. All of that information you can share. Same thing with your Google Docs and forms and all that. You can share all of those to keep everybody in the loop. Another cool thing I use is Google Keep. It lets you kind of take notes and clips and stuff like that, and you can organize them and put them in folders and all that kind of stuff, tag them, pin them, whatever you need to do. But you can just go to Google Keeps, there's other little icons, and then you can add notes, reminders, you can do screenshots, you can do web pages. That way, when you're researching, again, you don't have to carry around a big notebook with you. It's all right there. You can access it anytime you need to. And the hyperlinks are already there. You don't have to worry about misspelling something or missing one of those tiny little numbers. So that's a great help if you're, especially if you're on websites that you don't usually use, or it's a different one from what you regularly use. It's a good way to help keep track of all of that. This is one of my favorites, Google Earth. It's actually something you have to download, Google Earth Pro. But what you can do is you can take, as you can see here, this is the current map of Warren County, Ohio. And I was able to find a different map of Warren County, Ohio from the 1800s. And I was able to line up the roads that are still there and match it up so I could actually see where our family's land was in the 1800s versus what's there now, which was really kind of cool. There's a ton of stuff you can do playing around with Google Earth Pro. Google Earth just does kind of like a map that you can look at things, but when you get the download the Earth Pro, you can actually do the overlays. It does take a little bit of practice and a little bit of fussing with, but it's really easy to do. And you can put pins like you can see here. This is different places that my family owned. So I'm able to go down 741 and actually see where they are now, what's there now. It is not a giant field anymore, just to let you know. Okay, another thing that will help with your research and actually finding information, which is really cool, is Google Books and Google Scholars. I use Google Books a lot. This is really helpful for out-of-print books. You can actually, by names, look by places, and it'll find books that have mention of this in it. Is it 100% accurate? No, but if you know there is an old family history book, like one of ours is the History of Warren County, it's actually on Google Books. So I don't have to worry about WorldCatting it or anything like that. There are some books that are just the information about it and like, oh, here's a page number that your family's on and a little sample of it, just a couple paragraphs, couple sentences that you can use WorldCat to request. Some of them actually have the entire book has been scanned in a searchable PDF that you can go through and look. You can save these books like I've done here, like this Munger book. I actually saved it to my online library, so I can go back to it anytime I want. Same thing with the History of Warren County. I found it since then and added it to here. So if I'm like, oh, what did that say? Is there anybody else in it? I can go right back to the book. It has the citations for everything. Even if it doesn't have the full book, it'll have the citation to help you use Percy and WorldCat to find the actual book. Another thing is Google Scholar. This is a little more scholarly, not necessarily family history, but it does have some good information in it. And if you're needing to do other research, this is a good place to look too. These are usually peer-reviewed type scholarly articles. It helps you get to WorldCat and all that too with Google Scholar. Both of them are great, really help you with your research. And if nothing else, you can look at it, scan through it and see if it's something you're interested in to request it later. And to get to these, you just Google books.google.com, scholar.google.com. Super easy to get to. You can actually find photos and save them in Google Photos. These are all pictures that I had found online of family members we had never seen before. I had found them online. I wanted to just easily, quickly show and share with my family. I was able to save them straight from the web page, saved to my drive. Boom, it's in Google Photos, and then I can share it. You can edit them. It does some minor editing, not a whole lot, but you can like crop and that kind of stuff. So here is a basic list of some of the things that are for free. There are more. There are some that you have to pay for higher features, all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, a lot of these products are free and super easy to use. There's blogs where you can make your own blog to share your family history, Google Plus. There's Hangout, which is messaging, video chat, phones. So if you want to contact people, maybe somebody in a different country or a different state that you're researching with, this is a good way to do that. There's podcasts that you can listen to. There's so many things you can do. Google Translate is a good thing. It's not perfect. It does make mistakes, But if you're looking at, say, a newspaper article that you think is a death announcement, you can type in a couple of words that are there and it'll translate it to English and it'll get you pretty close. Again, not 100% perfect, but it'll probably get you in the ballpark. Google Groups, there are tons of forums and genealogy and blogs and directories and YouTube videos. All of that you can get to and get help with your research and support and find people specifically looking for the same things you are. And there's also Google Sites where you can make your own web page to share your information with. So how do you get there? I'm going to assume everyone has a Gmail account. It's to sign up for. You just go to gmail.com, make up an address, make up a password, boom, you're set in your Google Drive. So you get 15 gigabytes for free. After that, you can pay to have more. So far, I've been using this for a few years now, and I have not even gotten close to my 15 gigabytes. So I'm not too worried about it. If you notice up here, when you log into your screen, it'll usually take you to your Google Drive or your Google email. Either way, you'll have this box of 9 little dots. When you click on that, let me go back. That will bring up, hang on one second. I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna show you exactly what happens. So let me go here to Google Drive. There's mine, your Google account. So when you log in, you have this. Right up here where these little dots are, these are all of your Google apps. If you click on them, you can put all the ones that you use, they drag and drop, so you can move them around however you want. And so the ones you use the most up top. Google Books. I can type in history. And here you can see it gives you a sample of it. You can read it free of charge. You can download it. You can look inside the book, or you can add it to your library. And it will all just pop up then in your Google Books when you open it. And it doesn't look like they're all here, but if you scroll on down, see all of these different things, and there's more. So you can browse products and you can see everything. And these are changing, these are updating. Oh, sorry about that. They're adding to all the time, so keep that in mind if you don't see what you're looking for. And you just click on them and it takes you right to the site, translate now, and it'll translate what you want. You can change your languages, whatever you need to do. So Google is not just your search engine. It can be your whole research station all in one, everything from Google Docs and your notes. As you can see here, all of my notes, to your website, to your research. It's a wonderful tool. It's great. It sounds kind of basic, but it's really not. So give it some time, play around with it. I think you guys will really enjoy using Google and all of its forms to help you with your research and help you get to the next level. So if you have any questions, be sure to let us know.